The big thick boy into Excadrill. We do tank the drill on the second. Will knock out Excadrill. Can tank a body slam. Superpower is threatened. If you're new to the channel, there's one thing you need to know. We don't bait around here, but does the opponent respect the damage? So, welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. My god, am I grateful. Master League Premier Classic is here, even if it is for the final time. This is the one format where I believe Shadow Pokemon are pretty fucking good. Today's video is a bit of a throwback. I am going to be using the team that I climbed to Legend with way back in Season 10. We've got a double legacy Dragontail Gyarados in the lead, the big thick boy on the Say Switch, and the surprise factor of Stone Edge Shadow Machamp. So without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we'll lead Gyarados into Heracross. You love to see it. The opponent Say Switches into Shadow Snorlax, and we answer with Shadow Machamp. You will notice that the Shadow variant's body slam does hit pretty hard. Machamp does tank it. The opponent can now double shield to take switch, but I really don't care, as when shields are down, Shadow Pokemon go to town. The opponent shields the first cross chop. Machamp makes cross chop number 2. This is going to be threatening to the Snorlax, and the opponent is making all the plays for switch advantage. We've got the Snorlax now deep in the red. I am going to bring back in my Gary, commit to the Dragontail farm down. I'm still holding on to 2 shields. Let's see what that final Pokemon is. Oh, hello Mamoswine, Aqua Tail. Not the best move, but Shadow Gyarados hits like a truck. We get this Mamo now deep in the red, and I'm going to look to snipe it with Snorlax. We get the snipe, and we've got 2 shields, and it's just Heracross remaining. Snorlax, despite taking super effective at a super thick, these body slams do massive damage to Heracross. The opponent is going to have to throw the close combat to take us out, and I'm just going to 2 shield flex, Mr. Opponent. I dare you to close combat me. I think fucking not. And Snorlax is a Heracross counter confirmed. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle. We lead Shadow Gyarados into Dragonite. Do they know about the Dragontail? The opponent sees the fast move. They pivot into Mamoswine. We answer with Machamp, and the opponent says, fuck that, and quickly concede. Moving on to the next one. We lead Gary into Metagross. Not the best matchup as we are on Dragontail, however, it is still favourable. We got 2 better responses. In the back, I am going to tank the Meteor Mash on the chin. Meteor Mash is resisted, but Gyarados shows its paper bulk. The opponent now pivots, making a great catch. Onto their own Gyarados. The opponent might have been thinking we were going for the Aqua Tail bait, but there's no bait on this channel. That chip damage puts me in a great spot. I can now bring in the big thick boy to absorb all of this energy. Opponent goes for the crunch. The big thick boy doesn't get debuff. We are going to over farm. Fire off the body slam. Does the opponent want to fight for switch advantage? The opponent does shield it up, wanting switch advantage, and I think, actually, trainer, I'll just maintain the alignment that I want. I am going to shield it up, commit to the Lick farm down, and Snorlax leaves absolutely loaded. If Metagross does return, I am going to attempt to unleash back-to-back superpower back out. Comes Metagross. Do they want to shield up the first superpower? Yes, they do. The opponent tries to bullet punch, farm us down, but Snorlax says, I'm not called the big thick boy for nothing. We make the second superpower, get Metagross deep into the yellow. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count. It's 8 bullet punches to the Meteor Masher. Come into Machamp. Sack the Gyarados, because even if the opponent has a flyer, they're about to get Stone Edge to the face, but they actually have a Garchomp, and we are looking pretty good to go. Machamp can just spam out cross shops. First cross chop gets Garchomp into the yellow. I'm at the back-to-back. I am going to fire off the next cross chop. Cross chop gets Garchomp now on 1 HP and a dream. Whatever the opponent does throw, I am going to shield up. That counter is going to register. Down goes Garchomp. Back out comes Metagross, and Machamp is going to cross chop that as well. And that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle. We see Gyarados into Florges. Absolutely dreadful. This thing actually beats the entirety of our team. However, we do manage to pull off a few victories against this piece of shit in the video. I absolutely hate fairies, hence I'm calling it a piece of shit. We can only go for Aqua Tails, and Florges pretty bulky. We make the first Aqua Tail. The opponent lets me get to Aqua Tail number 2. This is going to do some pretty solid chip damage. Florges now deep in the red. They can't fairy wind farm us all the way down, so the opponent is going to fire off one more disarming voice. I can now come in to the big thick boy Snorlax and commit to the Lick farm down. Tough decision to make. I am going to shield up a potential Moonblast, and we do correctly shield up the Moonblast. Snorlax does get the Lick farm down. Let's see what the opponent is going to come into. They bring in a Waterfall Gary, and it is time for their body slam spam. First body slam is going to do some solid chip damage. The opponent still hanging on to 2 shields. They throw the charge move after just 5 waterfalls. This is just an aqua tail. Snorlax tanks it. No problem. I throw 2 more licks and the body slam. Surely the opponent is going to commit a shield. They are not. It looks like they're looking to 2-shield whatever they have in the back. But guess what? It's Excadrill and Shadow Machamp is about to feast. The opponent can save 2 shields for season 14, 15, 16, or whatever they want, because they aren't going to have a chance to use them. I'm just going to commit to the counter farm down, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see the Gyarados mirror. The opponent is on Waterfall, I'm on Dragon Tail. You can see Dragon Tails ripping through the opponent as the opponent didn't switch. In an unfavourable matchup, I am going to pivot into Snorlax to see what the opponent has in the back, and luckily for me, we draw out the Charmer. Snorlax is our charm counter on the team. Gyarados, not the best. Machamp, pretty fucking dreadful. Body slam does land. The opponent lets me get to the second body slam, but is the opponent willing to give up a shield? Yes, they are. They are going to commit to the charm down, farm down, but I did leave with the aqua tail banked Gyarados. Despite me only having a 13 attack, is going to come in, win CMP. The opponent is now going to be forced to commit 2 shields or die. With all of their energy, the opponent just lets it go. And their final Pokemon is Metagross, the other thing that didn't want to see Gary. I come in to Machamp. I am going to continue to farm up. The opponent also farming up, so I am going to start unleashing the cross chops. Cross chop doesn't get a shield from the opponent at this stage. I can just save 2 shields for Gary, and this game is over. The opponent takes us out with the Meteor Mash. I come back in to the Gyarados. I am going to shield up the next Meteor Mash. The opponent needs to pivot as they would get resisted. Dragon Tail farm down, back out. Comes their own Gary and there's no bait. So we go straight for the crunch. The opponent correctly shields, but we get the defense drop, and that is going to be all she wrote. The opponent is going to fire off an aqua tail. I still have a shield remaining. Metagross is energy dry, and the opponent is finally going to concede the match. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one, we see the little steel mole in the lead. We're on Dragon Tail, so not the worst matchup for the opponent, but they still pivot into their own Gary, and I'm going to look to do some chip damage. I'm going to fire off the crunch. Crunch draws a shield from the opponent. We're still not in crunch range. I've got no intentions of shielding this up. I'm going to farm up to the aqua tail and bring in the big thick boy. I did let my Gyarados get pretty low, but despite being in the red, Excadrill is going to have a really tough time of farming us down. The opponent goes straight for the crunch. I'm not going to mess about. I'm just going to pressure the final shield or get rid of this Gary. I go straight for the body slam, and body slam does secure the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Machamp. As they're already down 1 shield, they go straight for the cross chop on a charge move priority event. Down goes Snorlax, 2 shield. Shadow Machamp is going to have no problem cleaning up this game. I bring in my own Machamp. The opponent goes straight for the cross chop. I am going to commit my first shield here. The opponent has thrown the cross chop as soon as they get it the first 2 times, so stay in school, kids. Learn to count. I count to 5, banking on the fact they're just going to spam it as soon as they get it. We sack the Gyarados. We come in to Machamp. We would commit to the counter farm down. The opponent realising they'd get farmed down, bringing Excadrill. They attempt to tank the first cross chop, but they absolutely cannot. We commit to the counter farm down and counter farm down the Machamp as well. In the next battle, we see another Steel Mole in the lead. This opponent is staying in, so I like to throw 3 Dragon Tails and look to catch the Rock Slide on Snorlax. Rock Slide doesn't get stabbed and doesn't do a whole great load of damage. This opponent is farming up to bank a move for later, and then I'll pivot out into Dragonite. Dragonite is obviously now more favourable against Snorlax as they have access to superpower. However, as we took the Rock Slide, they can just go straight Dragon Claw. The opponent throws the Dragon Claw as soon as they get it. Snorlax might survive on 1 HP and a Dream, which it does. Best buddy, big thick boy coming in clutch. We make the second body slam. The opponent lets it go. This is ideal for me because the farm I'm going to get is going to allow me to leave with the aqua tail. However, as the opponent did farm up back to a Rock Slide, I'm going to spam out into Machamp, attempting to catch charge move number 2. The opponent doesn't throw their energy immediately, but they do stay in, so I am going to shield up a Drill Run as Excadrill does hit pretty hard, and it is Metagross in the back. This is one of the matches where you really want the Shadow variant for this format, as Shadow Machamp beats Metagross in the 1 shield, whereas the regular does not. However, as we have an energy lead, I'm just going to spam out Cross Chop. After the Cross Chop, the opponent shielded the first, let the second go. They smartly throw the energy off before we make the third. Meteor Mash takes care of Machamp. I come in to the Gyarados. I know I do tank a resisted Meteor Mash. I am just going to commit to the Dragon Tail farm down. Meteor Mash does hit pretty hard. I get the farm down. We've both got a shield apiece, but I have the back-to-back moves. First Aqua Tail will be drawing the shield from the Excadrill, and the second Aqua Tail is going to be enough to knock out. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Gyarados into another Florges. We managed to beat this earlier. Can we beat this Pokemon that beats our entire team? Let's find out. The opponent goes for a charge move. This time they throw at good time and they full send the Moonblast. Gyarados gets near one shot, but we do survive and we are going to start unleashing Aqua Tails. First Aqua Tail doesn't do a whole lot, but guess what? We've got more of where that come from. Gyarados is going to fire off the second Aqua Tail, and this now does some respectable chip damage to the Florges. The opponent commits to the Fairy Wind farm down. We bring in Snorlax. The opponent pivots into their own Snorlax, and we answer with Machamp. I'm not going to shield up the Body Slam. I'm then going to throw 5 counters and the Cross Chop to secure the knockout or draw a shield. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. That Florges is pretty low, so they are pretty much in Cross Chop range anyway. Cross Chop takes care of Snorlax. Back out comes the Florges, and I am going to be spamming out my own Cross Chop. Cross Chop does draw a shield. The opponent decides to throw energy, so I am going to allow Machamp to go down as I can't counter farm down this annoying fairy type. We bring back in the Snorlax. Tough decision to make. They've got a boatload of energy. I am going to shield up the Moonblast correctly, and that final Pokemon is Excadrill. Excadrill can hit Snorlax for big neutral damage with the Drill Run. However, the opponent is in the really annoying bait game. Body Slam is resisted, Superpower knocks out. We don't bait on this channel, we go straight for the Superpower. Opponent calls the bait, hashtag I'm not baiting. Snorlax licks down Florges, and we manage to beat the annoying fairy again. Moving on to the next one. We see Dragon Tail Garchomp in the lead. Despite us hitting 4 super effective, is a pretty neutral matchup because Garchomp, with its 3900 CP, has got the biggest stat product in the league. The opponent pivots out into Metagross. We draw a shield with the Crunch. I now send in the big thick boy, as I don't really like Snorlax, into Dragon Tail Garchomp, as licks don't do anywhere near as much damage as the Dragon Tails. I overfarm, go straight for the Superpower. Superpower does secure the knockout. Back out comes Garchomp, and we are going to get some valuable chip damage with the Body Slam. This should put them deep into the red, which it does. I now come in to Machamp. All Garchomps love to bait Shadow Machamps. I call the bait and I get absolutely wrecked with the Earth Power. You hate to see it. The opponent now farms us down one Dragon Tail, takes out Garchomp, and there's Excadrill in the back. So despite nearly getting one shot, this game is absolutely over. We can just spam out Aqua Tails. The opponent decides to try and tank the first, and apparently they don't like using shields either. And I have 2 and they have 1 shield remaining. At the end of that battle, a bit of a strange one. Moving on to the next battle, we see the Shadow Gyarados mirror. Holy smokes. I've never seen this mirror, but I am going to attempt to tank the Crunch, and holy smokes, we don't tank that all that well. I return fire with my own Crunch. The opponent also lets it go. We get the defense drop, but the Dragon Breath does register before Dragon Tail, as they're on a 1-turn move, and I'm on a 3-turn move, so we come in with Snorlax. We do get the lick farm down, and the opponent answers with Metagross. I wonder if this is double steal, which would be great for me, or I wonder if they've got something like a fairy. The answer is they've got Mamoswine. Oh, hello Mamoswine. We come in to the Machamp. I'm going to 1 shield and counter farm this thing all the way down. Shadow Mamoswine, not the thickest. We're going to leave with a whole boatload of energy and start unleashing Cross Chops on this Metagross. The opponent still has 2 shields. They're going to need to start using them. The opponent still doesn't shield and then concede. I guess they knew they were just fucked regardless. Moving on to the next battle, we see this weird coffee-looking table thing called Avalon in the lead. I attempt to catch a Rock Slide on my Snorlax. I don't catch, but the opponent fires off a Crunch. They get the defense drop. The opponent is going to look to catch a Superpower. They don't catch. All they catch is the work of the Body Slam spam machine known as Snorlax Dragonite. Shields the first. In case I had Outrage, I do not. They then fire off the Dragon Claw to deny the second Body Slam. Smart play on their part. Dragon Claw takes us out. This is a really healthy Dragonite, so I'm not going to be able to Dragon Tail farm it all the way down. So I throw a couple, then the Crunch doesn't knock out. Can we take them out before they get to a charge move? Yes, we can, and now instantly spamming out into Machamp. As we know, the coffee table does have residual energy. They bring back in the coffee table. I'm at least assuming their second move is Rock Slide. They've already shown Crunch, and it is Rock Slide indeed. The opponent is still staying in, so they must be double weak to Machamp, so I'm going to shield up the second Rock Slide. And what is that final Pokemon? Oh, hello Snorlax. First cross chop will be drawing the final shield. The second cross chop is going to do big damage. We've got residual energy, good to go on the Gary, so the opponent is going to have to commit to a Lick Farm Down to have any chance of winning this game. The opponent realises that's not happening and concedes the match. Moving on to the next one. We see our arch nemesis Florges in the lead. The opponent farms up 2-7. I am going to no shield. And then throw one Dragon Tail and the Aqua Tail. Apparently this opponent is pretty smart as they do catch onto their Snorlax. However, we have a great answer with Machamps. We throw the Aqua Tail pivot into Machamp. Snorlax can throw whatever they like. Machamp is going to tank it, no problem whatsoever. And if Florges don't know, let me fucking tell you, they're about to find out about the Stone Edge. We commit to the counter farm down. We have residual energy, good to go. I'm looking top right, what is coming in? I see Florges and I'm going straight for it. No baiting does the opponent. Respect the damage. Who the heck shields from a Shadow Machamp? Really, trainer? I'm not going to make the second Stone Edge, so I'm forced to go for resisted cross chop. Machamp hits pretty hard and I'm going to take that solid chip damage. I now can realign my Pokemon. I bring in the big thick boy. They have enough for the Moonblast, but this master baiting motherfucker baits me with a disarming voice. You hate to see it. This can only be a disarming voice. It's not going to do all that much damage, but I still have no idea what's in the back. I am going to unleash a body slam, not lethal from this range, but it should get them fairly low. And the opponent's final Pokemon is Gary, and you're going to see a huge misplay here. I should throw the crunch as soon as I get it. I did not, and now I am in a really tricky spot. I'm now panic putting up a shield, and this game is a real fucking mess. I'm in absolute shambles. I do fire off the crunch. Crunch is going to get the final shield. Can we make a resisted Aqua Tail? We cannot. Snorlax is now going to have to come in, tank a charge move. I believe Florges is one away from a move. I doubt I can lick down. Opponent fires off the crunch. I am going to go for the body slam. Body slam should knock out from this range. It actually doesn't. We do lick down. Florges comes in. They throw the one fairy wind, and I lose a heartbreaking game. So moral of the story is, don't be a fucking noob like myself. I think if I would have pressured the final shield with the crunch, I could have just shielded up the Snorlax in the late game and actually got a dub. But you can't win them all. Moving on to the next one, we see Excadrill in the lead. So I threw 3 Dragon Tails, caught the Rock Slide onto my Snorlax. The opponent again farms up some energy and pivot out into Dragonite. It's like deja vu. We are going to unleash the first body slam. Body slam is going to land. The opponent needs to throw, or we'll get to the second body slam. They actually don't throw, so this opponent is allowing us to get off the second. They obviously don't want to get farmed down by the Gyarados, or they want to make back-to-back moves to threaten the health on the Gyarados. Either way, I'm not too bothered. We've got a shield, and that's all that really matters. I'm going to come back in with the Gary, commit to the Dragon Tail farm down after waiting out my time, and the opponent is going to fire off the claw. There's no need to shield this up. It does hit quite hard, to be honest. We are now into the yellow. We do get the farm down. I'm spamming out into Machamp. Back out comes Excadrill, so we do catch the Rock Slide. You love to see it. Rock Slide doesn't do a great deal of damage, and it is Metagross in the back. A really common line of 3. This is the second time we've played them in the video. ABA Steel. Interesting. Machamp fires off the cross chop. Metagross lets it go. We make the second cross chop. This should be pressuring the final shield as the Excadrill wants nothing to do with Machamp. We've still got 2 shields, and this game is absolutely over. I am going to need to shield up the resisted Meteor Mash. I'm just going to throw the Aqua Tail as soon as possible. This will be getting rid of the Metagross, and we're only 1 Dragon Tail away from the second, and this is going to be more than enough to knock out the mole. GG's, and thanks for playing. So after playing like an absolute potato in the last game, we managed to get back on the win streak. Moving on to the next one, we see another Florges in the lead. We already know that we absolutely hate to see this Pokemon. Let's see if this opponent goes straight Moonblast. I always no shield. This opponent goes for the disarming voice and again make a catch. Holy smokes. I really need to be mindful that in this matchup, they do like to pivot. The opponent catches the resisted Aqua Tail onto Gyarados, but we can stay in. Fire off the crunch. Let's see if the opponent wants to give me a shield. No, they don't. We get the defense shot. Can I farm them down? It looks like I'm on 1 HP, so I don't shield. I'd love to win switch, but charge moves do 1 damage, even through a shield. I really can't decide if I would have survived or not, so I think the safe play is the no. Should I come in, commit to the lick down? Please bring back in that Florges, or I am in big trouble. The opponent still will be temporarily switch locked, and they've got a Mud Shot Garchomp in the back. I count to 7, attempt to catch an Earth Power onto my Machamp. The opponent doesn't throw, but they are throwing energy. I've got no intentions of shielding up Machamp. Earth Power near one-shots. They bring back out the Florges, and I'm going straight for that Hail Mary. Does the opponent respect the Stone Edge? They do not, and it lands for big damage. This game is going to get close. It's the big thick boy versus the world. I come in, throw one lick, and the Body Slam. Body Slam does draw a shield. I've still got 2 shields. The opponent has enough for a Moonblast. I'm going to call that it is just a disarming voice, and they do throw the disarming voice. They're actually going to throw back to back. I'm tempted to no shield this, but I choose 2 shield up. Can I commit to the lick farm down? Holy smokes, 1 HP and a dream. I'm going to have to no shield. This next charge move, disarming voice, gets us deep into the red. We commit to the lick down. Back out comes Garchomp. I throw 1 lick and the Body Slam. This should be pressuring the final shield. Can we make 2 more Body Slam? Snorlax running out of HP. We get off the next Body Slam. Can we survive the mud shots? Come on, big thick boy, you can do it. We get the Body Slam and we die with the move. Fuck you, game. New mechanic would mean we'd get it off, but the game says, fuck you, trainer, have a loss. Moving on to the next battle. Again, we see Excadrill in the lead. As always, I attempt to catch the Rock Slide on Snorlax. This opponent, far too smart. They don't throw their energy and pivot out into Machamp. We land the Body Slam. The opponent is going to fire for Cross Chop. Cross Chop won't KO. I'm really hoping I make 1 more Body Slam. Do we get there? No, we don't. This is now going to get a little bit tricky as Gyarados doesn't really want to eat a Rock Slide. So I am going to fire off the Aqua Tail as soon as I get it. The opponent chooses to shield, so they're obviously going to Rock Slide me. I was really tempted to put it all on Shadow Machamp. I actually shit my pants. Choose to shield up, commit to the Dragon Tail farm down. I'm spamming out into Machamp. Hopefully I catch the Rock Slide this time. Do we manage to make the catch? The opponent brings in their final Pokemon, and it is a Vaporeon. What the heck is on my screen? Vaporeon, a pretty cool pick. Obviously great against stuff like Mamoswine. Excadrill, I don't really know what it's countering, but it's a pretty cool spice pick. We go for the Hail Mary Stone Edge. The opponent shields it up. We make 1 more Cross Chop before the opponent manages to farm us all the way down. Cross Chop puts this thing into Dragon Tail farm down range. I'm 1 Dragon Tail away from the charge move. I've just got a no shield. Whatever Vaporeon throws, it's just an Aqua Tail. The opponent can throw a charge move. They actually don't throw. I don't know why. I think they're trying to get to back-to-back, but we have the move locked and loaded, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. So, those were the battles with my Season 10 Legend team. I think I went 19-6 with this team day 1. You could see there one of the losses that I had, I played like an absolute potato, and 2 losses I lost to Double Charm, and I absolutely am not promoting or showing that absolute nonsense because I hate Fairy, and I think that's a really toxic, non-skill team, and you're not going to see that sort of content make my channel. But on a more serious note, if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one.